This is Kevin from Rebuilders. Today we're going to talk about the 5 obstacles to letting go. These are the things that we see for most divorcees that they struggle with the most and make the most difference for letting go so that you can move forward and get on with your life. So, first thing is grief. So, lots and lots of people have grief around the divorce. And so the first question is, what is grief? The basic definition is that it's a response to loss. It's whatever response you have, but there's lots of different responses we have. Sometimes it's sadness. Sometimes it is fear about the future. There is, how does this affect me? How does this affect my relationships? There's lots of things, but it's really, there's lots and lots of responses to that. So understanding what those responses are for you is step one. Second part about grief is, when you look at grief, I said it's a response to loss. So what's the loss? Well, the easiest way to say it is it's really the death of the relationship. It's the thing that is, you're losing, is that this relationship that you had with this person is dying. And so that's really, really hard. And it's especially hard these days because we don't really do anything to help move the process along necessarily. When someone dies, we have a funeral, but when it's a divorce, lots of people don't even know how to relate to, what do I do now? So that grieving process is really difficult. So how do you deal with that? You got to go into the grief. It's really hard to do, but really that's the way that you move forward is go into the grief and really feel it and let yourself be really, really sad. So that you can move through it and let go of all those things. Now the other thing is that grief is really, when I said it's a loss, one of the things is that grief is really a loss of the expectations that we had for marriage. So when we got married that day, everything was supposed to be great. This is a person I was giving myself to that is going to be my friend, is going to help me be happy in my life. And we were going to live a life together. And a lot of times, for a lot of marriages, it is for a while. But then, at some point, things start to change. And the relationship starts to suffer. And eventually, it doesn't work out for one reason or another. So that loss, those things that we hoped and dreamed for, are super, super hard. I'm going to talk about this on another day, about going more into the grief and what that is. But for now, understand, grief is the place to start. Number one thing. All right. Second thing for most people is anger. They're angry about what happened. They're angry about whether, for people who initiate the divorce, we often see that people are angry at their ex because they feel forced into having to do this. How they were treated, things that were said, things that were done, not done. Whatever those are, people feel angry that there was no other choice other than to end this marriage. For the other person, the person who's resisting the marriage or the divorce, it's really hard because that person feels angry about the other person quit on them, that they gave up. They're angry maybe about how it happened. They're angry about just how painful this is. And so, those things are really just difficult. Anger is very common and a very reasonable thing to feel in a lot of ways, but it is by far the most misunderstood emotion. It's the thing that I could spend hours talking to you about, and I will on another day. But anger is the place to start. And there's lots of tools out there about how to deal with your anger, but it still is difficult to deal with this kind of anger of what happened. Now, both of the grief and the anger, the 1 and 2 items on this list, are both feelings. Those are really important. And a lot of people get stuck trying to think their way out of their feelings. And so it's hard for us to learn how to acknowledge what we're feeling and really learn how to do that. So that's a tricky process that a lot of people, it takes practice to learn how to do. Okay, third thing on our list for the 5 obstacles is this thing where when I talk to people, they they tend to say things like, I can't believe this has happened to me. Is this really my life? I wish he or she hadn't left, or I'm still hoping that he or she would come back. I was talking to someone the other day on the phone who has been divorced for 15 years. And her husband left the marriage with her, remarried, and has since gotten divorced again. And she is still waiting for him to come back. She thinks that he'll change his mind and come back. That's denial. All of this is denial. Denying the reality of what's happening, even though there's lots and lots of facts in front of us, is our way of dealing with this incredible pain. It's our way of, we call it the shock absorber for reality. And denial can be healthy in some ways, in that sometimes we just can't deal with all of the intense emotions. We've got to still get the kids to school. We've still got to go to work. We've got to eat, shower, process certain things. But at some point, denial can actually be a bad thing, because what ends up happening is that we never are really addressing those painful things. For most people, it's the grief and anger that they're having trouble accessing. But there could be other things. There's fear, there's blame, there's lots of other things that happen, shame. So keep those in mind, as if you find yourself doing that, the secret there, one tool that you can use, is simply starting to acknowledge to yourself, this is real, this is my new life, and I'm going to be okay. That's important. I'm going to be okay. I can get through this. And let yourself know that, hey, yes, this is hard, but it's not impossible. Okay? All right, fourth thing on our list of obstacles is having a support system. So a lot of people have put everything into their marriage and are hoping for it to be, expect it to be the only thing that they have. They put everything into work or other things, maybe the kids, and then all of a sudden this other person is gone and they're left without a support system. If you do have a support system, sometimes that support system isn't as strong as what you really need for to really talk to people. A lot of people don't understand what divorce is. So having a support system, someone that you can talk to about your divorce that really understands what that is super, super helpful, because you need that. There's a lot to process and a lot to understand of what happened, why, what you're feeling, how to move through that. So much, and you just can't do it alone. And frankly, that's what a lot of people do, is they try and do it alone because they feel like they're scared, they're ashamed of what they did or didn't do, or the fact that their marriage has fallen apart. It's so many things that they don't reach out. Maybe they just feel so bad that they think nobody wants to talk to them. Whatever it is, you've got to find a support system. You've got to find people to talk to, and learn that you are feeling the same way that so many other people are feeling. All right, fifth thing is, we also see a lot of people that when I talk to them about things, I can hear when they say things like, and frankly I did this as well, was it's his fault, it's her fault, she did this, she did that, it wasn't me, that kind of thing. This is blame. This is the fifth item. When you are blaming the other person for what happened, and a lot of times there are very legitimate things that were done or said that aren't cool. But frankly, what happens is when you are blaming the other person, what you're doing is you're sending your energy towards that other person. But that doesn't solve the underlying struggles that you have. All it does is deflect it towards that other person. So accepting your role in the process and looking at that of, what did I do? What could I have done differently? All of those things are helpful, just to say, okay, I'm going to learn from this experience in some way, rather than giving my anger, my sadness, my grief, my denial to that other person. So turn inwards and look of, maybe even write down, what are some of the things that I could have done differently, so that next time, or at least that I can learn from this. If you don't want it next time, that's okay too. So those are my 5 obstacles for letting go. Now, if you're interested in really working on these things, this is what we do. We help people move through these 5 obstacles and many, many things more. There's 19 steps in the standard process that we use. We've added 3 more since, so there's 22 different things to deal with. And these are just a few of the littlest pieces of that. So why we do this is our biggest program is the Rebuilding Workshop. It's a 10-week program, 2 hours a week. And this is what we do, is we work on these things with you and others in the group, and we all process this stuff together so that you can truly let go. This is a life-changing class. It makes all the difference in the world for people. It's the thing that people walk out of this program and say, I can't believe how good I feel. I can't believe how much I understand about myself. I am so excited to start living my life again. And that's only in 10 weeks. It's an amazing program. And if it's something you're interested, you can find out more at rebuilders.net or send me a message through various channels that you can find on our website or other tools. So anyway, I wish you the best. I hope these 5 obstacles helped you in some way to help you start to understand what are the things that you can do to start the process for letting go. All right, take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.